Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Donald Trump has criticised Vladimir Putin as Keir Starmer said both countries were working to put pressure on the Russian president to agree to a Ukrainian peace deal. On the final day of the US president's state visit, the pair also hailed a technology prosperity deal, with Mr. Trump praising the unbreakable bond with the UK and saying the two countries will cooperate to dominate the future of AI. The UK government previously said it had secured £150 billion worth of US investment, which it hopes will create 7,600 jobs. Earlier, the US president shook hands with the King as he left Windsor.
Hi.
Meanwhile, the Princess of Wales spent time with the First Lady, Melania Trump, meeting a group of young scouts in Windsor.
The one that I thought would be easiest would be because of my relationship with President Putin, but he's let me down. He's really let me down. It was going to be Russia and Ukraine, but we'll see how that turns out. But that turned out to be, I thought it might be among the easiest of the group. But we had settled just about every conflict, and as you know, we're working very hard on Israel and Gaza, all that's happening over there.
We're also working together to end the killing in Ukraine. In recent days, Putin has shown his true face, mounting the biggest attacks since the invasion began, with yet more bloodshed, yet more innocents killed, and unprecedented violations of NATO airspace.
Israel's far-right finance minister Bezalel Smotrich has said that the Gaza Strip could be a real estate bonanza and that he is in talks with the US about dividing up the territory after the war, an idea previously condemned internationally. Meanwhile, local residents and eyewitnesses say dozens of Israeli tanks and military vehicles have pushed into a major residential district of Gaza City on the third day of Israel's ground offensive aimed at occupying the area. Video footage shows tanks, bulldozers and armoured personnel carriers moving on the edges of Sheikh Radwan in northern Gaza City. Israel says the aim of its Gaza City offensive is to free hostages held by Hamas and defeat up to 3,000 fighters in what it describes as the group's last stronghold. Spanish police say they have arrested 19 people suspected of murder and torture after more than 50 went missing from a migrant boat that was travelling from Senegal to the Canary Islands. Police suspect some of the victims were accused of being witches after several incidents during the journey, including engine failure, bad weather and food shortages. The wooden vessel was rescued south of Gran Canaria on the 24th of August, with 248 survivors on board. Hundreds of thousands of workers have taken part in strike action across France after trade unions called for a day of protests against budget cuts. The Interior Ministry said between 600,000 and 900,000 people attended demonstrations nationwide, adding it deployed 80,000 police officers. Scuffles were reported in the cities of Lyon and Nantes, where police used tear gas to try to disperse protesters. The strikes come barely a week after Sébastien Lecornu, a close ally of President Emmanuel Macron, was appointed Prime Minister. ABC has pulled the late-night host Jimmy Kimmel off air indefinitely over comments he made about the shooting of the right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk. Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely, a spokesperson for the Disney-owned network said in a statement. It's after Kimmel said during his show that the MAGA gang was trying to score political points off Kirk's killing.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Kimmel has not commented, but President Donald Trump congratulated ABC for finally having the courage to do what has to be done. And a prolific shoplifter who led police on a 10-mile-an-hour pursuit in a car with no working tyres has been jailed. A police stinger popped all 4 of the car's tyres, but the suspect continued driving through the village in what police have called one of the slowest pursuits ever seen in Derbyshire, before he was eventually boxed in and arrested. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.